Why I kicked my matron of honor out of my wedding literally 2 weeks before my wedding.
The bullying and the hate comments and the things her and her friends have said to me and about me on the internet now have just got worse.
My matron of honor is literally obsessed with me.
So I decided to go anyways. I got her gifts, I got myself together, and I went.
I got the Louis Vuitton perfume and the cocktail glasses, but she kept the bracelet for herself. What the hell? Some shicey shit was going on.
The shadiest thing going on was actually on her husband's part.
One thing about Brian, don't fuck with his money. They claimed that he had been stealing.
This is someone I care about. I don't want hate for her. I don't want hate for me. I simply want the mean girl behavior and the bullying to stop.
Wish you were here, boo.
Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I came across a little bit of a situation on TikTok. It's not like really viral. So you may have seen it, you may not have seen it. One of the videos has hit 1 million something views so far. But the rest are they're flying under the radar a little bit. So, but this situation is absolutely blowing my mind. So I wanted to come on here and talk about it with you guys. I'm not usually into wedding stuff, like wedding drama, but this one really caught my attention because it kind of starts out seemingly like it's wedding drama. It's a bride coming on complaining about how she had to fire her bridesmaid, her maid of honor. The bride is such a stereotypical mean girl. So it turns out that the issue is not even with the bride and the maid of honor, it's with the husbands, because one of the husbands is the owner of a company, the other husband works for him. He quit on suspicious circumstances, and they want to get lawyers involved because they're saying it's defamation. The owner of the company is saying it's in the papers, like there's proof. So I don't know, it's a messy situation. And I just want to take you through it. The whole story is involving two couples. So Kenny is the bride who made the original TikTok video complaining that she had to fire her maid of honor. Brian is her fiance / husband. I think that they're married now. The other couple is Jasmine, the maid of honor, and her husband is not named at this time. So I'm just going to call her husband. This couple met because Jasmine and her husband own a company. Her husband runs the company. He's considered the owner, and he hired Brian, the bride's husband, about a year and a half ago, I believe. And that's how they all met. That's how they all connected. That's how they all became friends. So after working with each other for a little bit, their wives connected. They became besties apparently pretty quick. And after a short time, Kenny asked Jasmine to be her maid of honor. So the bride, still, I feel weird calling her Kenny. I don't know if that's her last name or her name, but whatever. So Kenny comes on and makes a storytime TikTok 3 weeks before her wedding. And this is what she says. I just want to point out the fact that her little hashtags in this video says hashtag DFWM, which I'm understanding stands with hashtag don't fuck with me. That already kind of tells you the kind of person that she is. Anyway, this is what she says.
Let's do a story time on why I fired my matron of honor out of my wedding 3 weeks before, and Brian kicked the groomsmen out of the wedding. I can't believe this is even real life and I'm telling this. Anyway, so we were really close with these people. Obviously, I asked her to be my matron of honor. Like me and this girl were close, okay? Anyway, my fiance, Brian, he worked for their company. I'm not going to say the company because I'm just not. He was really high up in this company. So he saw money coming in and he saw money coming out, which means he had access to everything. And we saw what they were spending their money on and blah, 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 blah of that sense. But anyway, they struggled paying their employees. They struggled paying people that were working for them. They're notorious in Arizona for doing this. But of course, because we were really good friends with them, we didn't expect them to ever do us dirty. And honestly, Brian stayed at this company for me and me only because he didn't want me to lose out on my friendship with owner's wife. It's really selfless of him to do because of the situations that were going on. But at the end of the day, what can you do? All we can focus on is the future, right? And luckily, he's out of it now and has a really secure, amazing job and opportunity with another company. Some shicey shit was going on.
So not the point, but I just want to say is just keeps clapping her hair straightener while she's talking. I hate it when people do that. When it's like they're doing a story time and they decide to do something just for the sake of doing something, so that they end up not actually doing the thing because they're so distracted by doing the story time that they're just like fiddling with the thing or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, just put it down and tell the freaking story. Anyway, sorry.
Company that some shicey shit was going on. And things were happening, and Brian started not biting his tongue on things, and he was just fed up and he quit. But these people are very big on business is business and friendship is friendship. Just be honest with us. I should have known this, considering two of our other best friends, they quit too, and they cut them out of their lives real fucking quick.
Two of our other best friends quit. I haven't heard the maid of honor mention this, but from my understanding, they all met after Kenny's husband was hired. So I don't know how they had like a previous friend group that apparently worked for them and then quit, because if they did, then wouldn't they have known each other before?
Brian quit. He gave the proper notice, said that he would continue working for this guy as long as he needed him, that he really hopes that they can be friends still, and that he asked him to be in his wedding for a reason, and he really hopes that this doesn't ruin their friendship. Well, payday approaches for the month of February, and they shorted Brian $4,200. And to some people, that's not a lot of money. Some people, it is a lot of money. To us, money's money. Don't fuck with our money, and that's exactly what they did. Brian had a few choice words with his so-called friend, and one thing about Brian, don't fuck with his money. Don't fuck with his money. He said since the very beginning, like, we can be cool, I like you as a person, but the minute you fuck with my money...
It just pisses me off so much when people try to act like they're such a badass. Like, don't fuck with my money. Be professional. Your husband was working for this guy. He was working for him. I don't like her. I don't like her. That's just it. It's the way that she speaks. It's the way that I just don't like it.
Is the minute, like, we're done here, they refused to pay him $4,200. Personally, for me, mind you, me and the wife are best friends, okay? I wanted to stay out of it. I didn't want to get involved. Brian is the type of person where, like, he doesn't have to be friends with them, but, like, I still can. He didn't say anything about it. He was just like, watch, they're gonna fucking turn on us, and it's gonna turn into this whole thing.
Okay, so that's interesting. So she says her husband told her, just watch, they're gonna fucking turn on us. That tells me that he knows that he did something that will make them turn on him. Because why else would he say that unless he knows there's something else going on? So I believe that this guy is not telling his fiance everything that he knows about the situation. There's got to be a reason why he's going up to his fiance and is like, oh, they're going to turn on us. Just you wait and see. Sir, what did you do? What did you do?
The day before my bridal shower, I get a text from my so-called best friend that says, hey, I don't feel comfortable coming to your bridal shower with everything that was said. It's just very disrespectful, and with Brian being there, I especially don't feel comfortable. Stay tuned for part 2.
Okay, we're just gonna jump right into part 2.
All right, let's do part 2 of why I kicked my matron of honor out of my wedding literally 2 weeks before my wedding.
Let me just double check this real quick.
I fired my matron of honor out of my wedding 3 weeks before. And
the first video she says 3 weeks before her wedding, and then this video she says 2 weeks before her wedding. So clearly she has no qualms with exaggerating for dramatics, right? That's proof.
So
that's
watch
proof.
Part 1 if you're confused, but part 2, I get a text from my so-called best friend saying that she's not sure if she should attend my bridal shower because she feels uncomfortable with the whole situation, and especially since Brian's gonna be there. I'm not gonna beg her to come to my bridal shower, and that's what she was wanting. So if you watch part 1, we ended the phone call. It was fine. I end up getting a text from her the morning of my bridal shower, like an hour before, saying that she'll be there. Okay. Everything was fine. I thought the bridal shower was nice. She was great. But she pulled me aside and she's like, hey, yeah, I just want to talk to you. Like, I love you. We shouldn't have gotten anything in between this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. I agree. So backtrack, a week before my bridal shower, she had sent every single person in my bridal party, I think except for like 2 people, what she was getting me for a gift. And that gift was Louis Vuitton perfume, Louis Vuitton bracelet, and like cocktail glasses.
What exactly was up with that little face that she just made when she talked about that part of the gift?
She set it up all cute, and which is pretty crazy, you guys. Like, Louis Vuitton, it's too much. Like, you can't pay your contractors, you can't pay your employees, but you're giving your 2 best friends Louis Vuitton.
This is twice now. This is in 2 separate videos that she's made digs about how this lady is not spending her money properly and that she's spending money that she doesn't have. It's none of their business what they spend their money on. If Jasmine technically is the co-owner of the company. If she wants to go and buy a Louis Vuitton bracelet, she can go buy a Louis Vuitton bracelet. It's interesting that she really thinks that she knows this lady's finances so well when her fiance, just works for the guy. He doesn't run the company. Why is he putting his nose into how they spend their money?
It's like, and I know this because my other best friend, for her bridal shower a couple months ago, she did the exact same gift. So I knew I was getting something like that. So fast forward, I'm opening up gifts at my bridal shower, and mind you, she had sent everything to my friends. So my friends were expecting me to open what she had sent them. I opened up, I got the Louis Vuitton perfume and the cocktail glasses, but she kept the bracelet for herself. And it's not about the gift, you guys. That's not why I'm upset. I'm upset because it's the principle. How are you showing all of my other best friends 2 days, 3 days before my bridal shower what you're giving me, but then because our husbands or significant others get into an altercation, you keep it for yourself?
Well, to me, it seems like it is about the bracelet, because then why else are you bringing up the bracelet if it's not a big deal? That's the only 2 things that you've brought up so far, is that your husband did something to get his last paycheck docked, $4,200 apparently, and the CEO's wife, or the owner's wife, sorry, didn't gift you a Louis Vuitton bracelet for your bridal shower? Okay.
And it's not about the bracelet. If I wanted a Louis Vuitton bracelet, I could go buy one. It's just the principle of, to me, like, what? So I didn't find any of this out. Like, I didn't know what she was getting me until my friends pulled me aside after the bridal shower and told me, because we all came to our house after. And I was like, what the hell? And Brian had been hiding from me, not hiding, but not telling me some of the things that were going on throughout the day, because he wanted me to enjoy my bridal shower and not be so worked up about things that were happening. But back to Brian's situation, while the bridal shower is happening, group chats were getting put out, screenshots were getting sent out to Brian about things that the owner was saying, and they were getting called, he was getting called a snake, a fraud, a loser. The list goes on, all because they didn't pay him. They claimed that he had been stealing, he stole iPads. Like, literally, you guys, it's the most insane thing that I've ever had to deal with. I guess not ever, because I've had crazy baby mama stories, but this is...
All right, one more thing. She's had crazy baby mama stories. Keep that in mind for later. We're coming back to that one, actually.
This more so is like betrayal, like the definition of betrayal. So yeah, things were getting sent to Brian, really, really upsetting things, and I was fed up. I sent my text to my so-called best friend saying, like, I don't agree with this. Pretty much my text wasn't... It was honest, and that's just where we're gonna leave it at. Was it the friendliest? No, but you owe us $4,200, so whoop-de-fucking-do. She responded back and said, thanks for sharing your thoughts, no problem, and that was the end of it. I said, please don't show up to my wedding. I don't want you guys. Haven't seen them since. I've talked to the husband since, gave him my sense. Of course, they're doing their social media, haters gonna hate, that sort of thing, but what can you do? But yeah.
Why is she contacting? I don't think I would ever think to do that, to contact my fiance's ex-boss to give him my 2 cents. But sure. I guess because they're all friends, right? Or at least they were all friends. I guess that makes it okay.
But yeah, the sense of loyalty, betrayal ultimately is the leading factor of why I kicked them out. Like I said.
So just to give a little bit of a background, Kenny, this girl, I don't know if her name is Kenny, but I'm just gonna call her Kenny. This girl, she had like I don't know, probably still 14,000 followers when she initially made this video. I don't know if she has lost followers. I wasn't really paying that much attention, but she has around the same amount of followers. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is because Kenny, the bride, she is a certified stereotypical mean girl. The comments that her and her friends have made on the Maid of Honor's TikTok and whatever her social media, they're just mean girl, nasty comments. And they were making fun of the fact that the Maid of Honor only had 200 followers. Like they said something like, oh, you're only 200 followers or whatever. Like, why don't you go post to your 200 followers? So funny enough, so now the bride, she's still stuck at the same amount of followers that she had before this whole debacle had. She might have lost some. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention too much. But the Maid of Honor has gone from 200 followers to now 50,000 followers. So in the span of like 3 or 4 days, she has gained 50,000 followers and is the Maid of Honor, the Matron of Honor, because she is married. But we'll get into her story time part 1. There is 4 parts to this story time, so I am going to skip and summarize over a little bit of it, but you'll get the gist because they are a little bit long and I don't want to be here for too long. So
part 1 of how I got kicked out of who I thought was my best friend's wedding as her maid of honor. We met when her husband got hired to work for my husband's company. We were hosting like this little Christmas party. I think it was Christmas. This little Christmas party. And they came and her and I clicked right away. We're around the same age. Our husbands are around the same age. Well, her fiance is around the same age. There's an age gap for both of us. So that was just kind of like fun and funny. It was nice to have someone who could relate to the same type of things. Our husbands did the same type of work. Whatever. It was just nice to have someone close in age, close by, close in our lives because they worked for us. And that's how we met. So we did become pretty close. I was pretty shocked when she asked me to be her maid of honor because we didn't or hadn't known each other very long at that point. But I was excited. I was honored. It was a huge deal.
Goes on to say she accepted the Maid of Honor role. She ended up paying for a bachelorette party. She did all the things, coordinating with her family, planning the bachelorette trip, really taking the role very seriously. And she said that she really genuinely enjoyed it. Like it was a really good experience. She had a lot of fun. So then she goes on to debunk a couple of things that the bride had originally said in her story that were allegedly were not true.
In her videos, she does say that her husband, worked for us. Very true. She did also say that he was really high up in the company. Not true. He was a sales manager, project manager. Sales manager? I'm going to be totally honest. I don't even actually know what his official title was. I know that he worked with, like, getting jobs done. So I think product management? I really don't know. I'm sorry. But he was not high up in this company. He had a direct supervisor. He had CFOs ahead of him, CEOs ahead of him, my husband. He was not high up in this company. He really wasn't. Why she felt the need to add that, I don't know. She also stated that he had access to all of our personal and business info and banking, that they saw everything we were spending, what was coming in, what was coming out, what we personally were spending. That's not true. No.
Yeah, I thought that part was a little bit weird. The fact that they were watching what the owners were purchasing and how they were spending their money and judging them and being like, nah. Yeah, that's not a really good situation. When I was working in retail, I used to hate how much the managers above me would get paid, and I would just break down every little tiny thing that I could and be like, nah. Like, oh, you shouldn't be in your position because you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Because I was a nasty, jealous person. I felt like I wasn't getting paid enough and I was taking out my own issues on the other person. Not actually, I would keep them all to myself. But mentally, I was like a very angry person, right? Because I was like, I'm getting paid nothing and I'm doing all this work and you're getting paid double what I'm getting paid because blah, 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 and you're not doing anything. I understand being in that position. It's a thing. It's a thing. When you feel like you're not getting paid enough or when you're, comparing, like, especially if you're like best friends with somebody, allegedly best friends with somebody, and they're making like quadruple your salary and you see them running around and you're like, oh, I feel like I should be getting paid more or whatever this guy apparently thought. I can understand feeling some jealousy, some resentment. But the fact is, they're the owners of the company. You're a manager. that's it. There's nothing you can really do about that, you know? So
Literally not a single soul. There's not a single role in our company that has access to that. We have a third-party tax person who's been hired. We have, like, there's no one in the company that sees that. So why she felt the need to say that, I don't know. I think she wanted it to sound like taboo, and I don't know. I don't know why she said that. That's absolutely positively not true. If he was ever shown like a singular bank statement or something, it was done intentionally. There was reason behind it. I don't know. So that's definitely not true. No one saw or knew what we were spending on money. She tried to make it sound like a lot of like shady things were going on, and that's just not true. The shadiest thing going on was actually on her husband's part.
oh.
So
She says the shadiest thing that was going on was actually on her husband's part, or her fiance at the time, I guess, because that's when he quit. When he quit suspiciously.
he did quit. That is absolutely true. He did quit the day his direct manager was fired. So this other gentleman was fired that Thursday morning. And by Thursday, I think like 6 p.m., her fiance had called my husband and was like, hey, dude, like I was really close with him. Management's tough. I don't want to have to get used to a new manager. This is my time to exit too. Okay. That original phone call went great. We totally understood. There were no hurt feelings. Me and this friend continued on completely fine. We talked about what's he going to do next. Is he excited? I'm excited for you. It was completely fine. Fast forward, I think it was like 2 weeks to that like following pay period. He had to come in to return his stuff in person and pick up a check as his last check inside direct deposit. And it just so happened to be the Friday, and her bridal shower was that Saturday. That Friday morning, I was oblivious. I had no idea anything was going on. I texted her in the morning, oh my God, tomorrow's bridal shower day. Are you so excited? Crickets. I texted her again in the afternoon, hey, so-and-so is sick. The school just called me. I have to go pick him up. They're sending him home. I don't think we're going to be able to come to your after party tomorrow after the bridal shower. Crickets. Text her a third time, I want to say around like 6 p.m. Don't quote me on that time, but like my texts were pretty spaced out is the point. I had been texting her all day with no response. So I text her again, hey, do you need me to come early to help set up tomorrow? What's the plan? Crickets. So she finally responds later in the evening. And it's like, hey, no, we got it all set up tonight. All that's left is tables tomorrow. Okay.
She goes on social media and she sees that all the bridesmaids are there setting up all the tables, and she's the only one that's not there. She's the only one that's not invited.
My feelings are hurt. Her husband now at this point is texting my husband, going off, being absolutely cruel, saying awful, horrible things, stating that he was underpaid, which is not at all true. Trying to argue with him. There was some shady stuff going on with him and his direct manager, and so I don't know if the direct manager is the reason he was confused on what the pay was. I really, truly don't know. All I know is he was paid correctly. He was saying some truly horrible, awful things to my husband. My husband kept his composure really well and kind of just like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Like, talk to me. And he just continued to go off. It was really, really rough. And so I reached out to her and I sent her a really nice text, as nice as you possibly could in this situation. And I was like, hey, I'm really uncomfortable. I feel like you don't want me there. That's the vibe I'm already getting. I'm the only one who wasn't invited tonight. All this is going on. I'm not going to come tomorrow. I love you. I care about you. I hope you have the best day. And I'm just going to step back from this day and give everything a minute to kind of calm down. It was pretty much the gist of what my text said. And she responded a little while later, and all she said was, are you joking? Or you're joking, right? I kind of was just frozen and was like, I'm not joking. Like, you're obviously intentionally discluding me. You're making me uncomfortable. Like, no, I'm not joking. And so I kind of just sat there and waited. And
I don't blame her for feeling uncomfortable, because you're sitting there and the bride's husband, or the bride's fiance, is just like texting your husband / the owner of the company and just like saying like, hey, like, where's my money? Like, blah, 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 and getting all upset with him. I would feel super awkward too. Ugh, that's really awkward. I don't think that I could pretend like nothing is wrong at that point. I think that I would personally be like, this is not a good situation. This is a really awkward situation. And clearly, because the bride was not answering her and not including her in the bridal shower, it already is just like, I mean, this whole situation is just so difficult. But when people do the mean girl thing, you know, where they don't just come out and say like, hey, because of this whole situation, I don't feel comfortable. Like, for example, what Jasmine did and sent a text like, hey, I feel uncomfortable. That's the mature thing to do, to communicate, to say like, hey, this situation is weird. I think something's off. Something is uncomfortable. But instead of doing that, the bride was just ignoring her texts. She didn't include her in the bridal party. They were posting on social media, which I 100% believe was purposeful because they know that the maid of honor is on social media. They all have them added. They're all like a little friend group, right? So they're posting on social media like, oh, look at us having such a fun time setting up for the bridal shower. Ha ha ha. And she's not invited. That's completely mean girl. I don't blame her for feeling uncomfortable. Okay, so this is part 2.
Part 2 of how I got kicked out of who I thought was my best friend's wedding as her maid of honor.
In the part 2, she goes on to say that she got the phone call. They had a little bit of a discussion, but it didn't really go anywhere.
And then it got to a point in the conversation that she was throwing in a lot of digs at me, digs at my husband, digs at our company, saying some really hurtful things that I didn't want to tolerate and didn't want to hear. So I kind of shut it down and was just like, hey, like if we're going to agree to leave the boys' stuff and their issues to them, then let's do it. Let's stop talking about it. I did ask her multiple times without being dramatic, without overestimating. I want to say I asked her seriously at least 5 times. If you want me there tomorrow, let me know. I will come. I will be there for you. She would not answer if she wanted me there. She would not give me a yes or no. She kept saying things like, you're a big girl, make your own choices, do what you want. You should know what I want. She would not answer, which should have been my first sign at how this was going to go, honestly. And it wasn't. I just thought she was hurt, which I understood. So I apologized over and over again profusely. Like, I'm really sorry, I wasn't trying to hurt you. She did make comments like, oh, you're doing this intentionally to hurt me. That wasn't the case. I did tell her, like, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to hurt you. Over and over again. So this conversation kind of went in circles.
In the morning, she decided that she was, in fact, going to go to the bridal shower. And the bridal shower was at 11. So she let her know around 9 o'clock, like, hey, I am going to go. The bride didn't respond, so she was feeling a little bit nervous. She was like, should I go? But then she was like, well, I said I was going to go, so I have to go now. And she ended up going. And then she goes on to explain the situation about the gifts. So the Louis Vuitton bracelet thing, I'm just going to let her explain it.
I do want to address the gift and the gift that I had planned on giving her at the shower that I did not give her, which is pretty much what her entire part 2 is about. I had purchased a 4 glass set, martini glass set that was gold rimmed, super cute, super her style. I knew she would love them. I purchased her a Louis Vuitton miniature perfume set that had, I think, 5 or 6 different perfumes in it. I have one. I got one for our other friend for her bridal shower. I knew she would love it. I also went just that weekend, the weekend prior to her shower, and picked out a Louis Vuitton bracelet. I've got one. I got one for our other friend for her bridal shower. I thought it would be cute. I thought it would like keep this tradition going of this gift that I had got all the girls now in our friend group. Well, one previous, and now this would have been like another one. So I wanted to kind of keep this tradition going. I thought it would be cute. I thought it'd be sweet. I spent a lot of time picking it out. I looked at so many. My sweet rep, who I know there, was so helpful. I texted her right before and was like, hey, I'm on the way. Like, can you help me? I did find the perfect bracelet that I really thought she would love, and I bought it. I was excited, and I had been talking to one of the bridesmaids before this. Only one. I really wasn't close with the rest. I didn't really talk to any of the other girls, honestly. Yeah, none of the other girls ever knew about this bracelet that are in the wedding party like she claimed. I had talked to one bridesmaid about, I plan on getting her this. What else should I get her? What do you think? I never actually even showed this girl the bracelet. She never saw it. She never saw it when I picked out. No one knew what it was. I did send photos of the gifts wrapped, which I'll put on here so you can see. I was really proud of how cute they looked. Well, anyways, the morning of, I was getting ready and it just was sitting so heavy on me that all these comments she was making about, you can't afford it, you guys are broke, you this, you that, like a lot of the comments they were making that were really hurtful were geared towards us being a young company just starting out. Finances can be hard, and as the owners, we're the first ones to take the hit. And she kind of was making fun of that, and a lot of her comments and digs were at that. And so it felt really wrong, and it felt really untrue to myself to go and give her this now $1,500 combined gift. It didn't feel good to me anymore. So I took the Louis Vuitton bracelet off. I did return it. I returned it 2 days after the shower. I did not keep it. It wasn't for me. I picked it out for her. I did return it. I gave her the martini glass set, I gave her the Louis Vuitton perfume, and I rewrapped and added our favorite lip mask from one of our favorite brands. It's something all of us girls use, that I knew she would just like and appreciate because I wanted it to still have the same tiered look, and I'll put a picture of it fully done too. And that was how I brought it, and that was how she got it.
Sounds like a really thoughtful and beautiful gift. You've got Louis Vuitton, you've got a martini glass set, you've got a lip mask. That sounds really nice.
I did not think that she would ever even know there was a bracelet. I was not doing that to be mean. I was not doing that to be vindictive. She was still getting this quite expensive gift, this like, I don't want to say extravagant, but like this thoughtful gift that I put a lot of time into, even just wrapping and making pretty. I put a lot of thought into this. So I didn't think she would ever think anything of it. I didn't think that she would ever say anything about it. She did.
I just need to read what she says. She says, "Thank you for coming yesterday, but the awkward gift giving situation that you showed my friends what you were giving me and then didn't actually give it to me was strange behavior. This has nothing to do with the actual present. It's the principle. I don't understand why you would show everyone what you were giving to me and then keep it. Why is she so obsessed with this freaking bracelet? It's kind of normal practice to ask the brides what you would assume would be closer friends. If I were in that situation too, I would ask around the friends, like, hey, do you think she's gonna like it? Like, what should I get her? Like, these are my ideas. It doesn't sound like she's saying, I'm getting her this. It sounds like she was like, I might get her this. Like, I don't really know. Like, this whole situation this is all so odd. Into part 3, her experience actually going to the bridal shower, even though she really didn't want to go. The bride was kind of like not responding to her when she was like, I don't know if I should go because I feel kind of like awkward. This is kind of a weird situation, but she ends up going.
So I decided to go anyways. I got her gifts. I got myself together and I went. The vibes were off instantly with the other girls. I clearly knew that they had all already heard about my text the night before, had heard about our phone call. Some of these girls that I felt like I got pretty close to and like had been building a good relationship with were avoiding me, not really like interacting with me. I spent majority of my time talking to other people that I didn't know, that I'd never met, other attendees of this bridal shower. And so I really didn't talk to any of the girls. I think there was a few like heys and highs, but like the vibes were very clearly off. I clearly could tell everyone knew what was going on, all the girls. So I spent most of my time talking to randoms. It was beautiful. It was beautifully set up. There were table settings with everyone's name, and everyone was kind of already getting seated in their spots. People were already starting to eat. So I started looking for my name at the table and couldn't find it. And so I see in the center of the tables, all the girls, all the bridesmaids, all the really close friends are all seated together directly in the center of these tables. I look, my name is not there. So I asked the bride, like, hey, do you know where my spot is? Like, I tried to make a joke about it. I was like, I don't have my glasses on. I can't see very well. Like, do you know where my spot is? And she was like, somewhere down there, I think. And that was the only response I got. Not like, oh, let me help you. Nothing. So, and if you remember her text, she said they were setting tables up that morning. So they had just set these out. Like, I feel like you would know where your maid of honor was. She didn't help me. So I went to the side of the table, she said, and I looked around. It 100% was not there. My name was not on that side of the table. So finally, I'm so sorry. My kids were just banging on my wall and I'm sure you heard it. So I look up that side of the table. My name is not there. And I know I'm not in the middle with all the girls. So finally, one of the other bridesmaids who had been being pretty mean as well at this point, looked at me and was like, I think you're down there. So it was where all the family was seated, all of the bride's family. I've met them all a few times. Like, I'm comfortable enough with them that like I was like, oh, okay. So I went and looked and I cannot find my name. It's not there. I cannot find my spot. And so I'm confused and I'm like, okay, like now I'm embarrassed. I'm walking around in circles around these tables. I don't have a spot. All the girls are already sitting and eating and now watching me. Like, I'm really starting to kind of panic and I'm like, oh my God, like there's no way this is happening. I don't know. So I am 95% positive that my name was not on that table. I want to believe that maybe I was seated down with the family and someone moved it. It ended up on the floor. I don't know. I want to believe that these girls would not have intentionally done that to me, but I don't know. What I do know is that my name was not on that table. And so I was humiliated. I didn't know what to do. I kind of was just like frozen for a second, tried to play it off. And thankfully another girl had decided not to come last minute. I'm not sure what the reasoning was. And so I went over and took her name card and moved in and was like, oh, it's a good thing she's not here. Like, I'll sit in her spot. And I sat with all the girls in the middle of the table, where I think I should have been anyways. I don't know why I would have been the only one on my own. So it is what it is. I sat, ate food. It was fine, whatever. I helped do gifts. I wanted to do what I was supposed to be doing as a maid of honor. I tried to help out as much as I could. I tried to like clean up the wrapping paper while she was opening gifts. And I was trying to be helpful and I was trying to distract myself from how uncomfortable I felt and how embarrassed I felt. That no one else was speaking to me, that none of the bridesmaids were interacting with me. I tried to just, okay, let's do what I was here to do. So I did that. And when I left, I got in the car and instantly called my husband and was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. And the first thing he said to me was like, you should have left. And I was like, I don't know. In that moment, I kind of was just in survival mode. Like, I was so humiliated that it was like, it was a lot. And so I did what I thought was best. I did stay through the whole shower. I was one of the first girls to leave. Ironically, I did win the game of who knows the bride best, which kind of almost felt like a slap in the face at that point, but it is what it is, and it definitely feels like one now. So it is what it is. I went home. I knew I was hurt. I knew I was really bothered. I knew I wanted to talk about it. And so the next day, I texted the bride and I said, hey, can you get coffee this week? Obviously, just knowing I was hurt, knowing I wanted to talk. She responded with a long message that was not very kind, disinviting me and my husband to the wedding and kind of just saying like, you're not someone I want in my life, you're not someone I want around. The message was not nice. There were a lot of digs in it. And it was really hurtful. And so I could tell that she wasn't looking for a discussion. She wasn't looking for, let's talk about this, let's figure out our issues. It was clear her mind had already been made up. She'd already made this decision. She didn't want me there. Now she's already kind of saying these mean things. My feelings are really hurt. So I just responded and said, okay, thanks for letting me know. I didn't know what else to say, if I'm being completely honest. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to keep going back and forth. There was nothing else left to say.
She starts off the message saying, hey, Jasmine, I have blank for spring break all week. Remember how earlier I said, keep in mind that she was talking about baby mama drama. So her fiance, I'm assuming, has a child, and this child is now becoming her stepchild. She's becoming a stepmom. And yet she feels like it's appropriate to come onto TikTok and compare what she is considering a crazy unhinged situation to not be worse than the baby mama drama that she has encountered in the past. Why on earth would you think that is appropriate? Do you not think that your stepchild might one day see this video? I don't think you should ever refer to your children or your stepchildren's parents in a negative way. To come on to TikTok during a viral moment, just to even mention, like, I've had baby mama drama. This child is now your stepchild. And you're calling their parent baby mama. That's incredibly disrespectful and uncalled for. And to compare it to a situation that you are complaining about and you are now saying is like such an unhinged situation, and you're comparing it to like, I've dealt with baby mama drama, so this is nothing, is really, you know, like, I don't think that this girl should have a platform. She hasn't deleted that already. Kind of sucks, to be honest. I hope that she does see this and that she does delete that and that she doesn't use that phrase again, because especially if she's trying to be like an influencer or whatever, your future stepchildren or your current stepchildren, I guess, because you guys are married now, congratulations, I guess, your stepchildren are going to see that. I was a stepchild. I am a stepchild. I have a bonus mom and I love her. She's awesome. She has never talked about baby mama drama. She has never used the phrase baby mama in her entire life. Not in her entire life. You know, I understand it can be like a casual and endearing term, but in the way that she's using it, you cannot tell me that was a respectful term, because she was referring to this whole crazy unhinged situation and comparing it and saying, I've dealt with baby mama drama and it's nothing compared to this, like blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she goes on to say that the accusations that your husband made against my husband are now directly affecting me and my livelihood. That sucks. I mean, you didn't get your Louis Vuitton bracelet, so I guess that kind of sucks. She mentions like the awkward gift situation where she didn't actually get the Louis Vuitton bracelet again. And then she says, I think you and I are two very different people, because some of the things that you have done are things that I would never do to anyone. For these reasons, I think it's best you both don't attend our wedding. So we cannot be affecting her livelihood, okay? So, you know, she didn't get her Louis Vuitton bracelet, and that really sucks. I'm really curious about what these allegations are.
She also proceeded to go through all these group chats that I was a part of, change the group chat names, make nasty comments. She put in the bridesmaid group chat, oh, Jasmine's not coming, ha 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 ha. Oh, she's still in here, before proceeding to remove me from the chat. She went through other group chats doing similar things. She went through a work group chat that was myself, my husband, her and her now husband, and another couple making fun of us, doing the same thing, and then removed me from the chat, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure it's a chat I had created at one point. But all these hurtful things and the bullying and the hate comments and the things her and her friends have said to me and about me on the internet now since have just got worse. So I'm gonna have to make a video addressing all of the allegations she's now said about me, because that really is why I started this. I want to clear the air. I want to address the things she's saying about the things I've supposedly done. Spoiler, most of them are not at all true. Actually, I don't think any of them are true, but we'll get into it. But please remember, you guys, this is someone that I do have love for. This is someone I care about. I don't want hate for her. I don't want hate for me. I simply want the mean girl behavior and the bullying to stop.
Okay, I'm just gonna play a little video that the bride posted. It's a little bit out of order, like we're kind of like switching back and forth right now, but she posted this video after she posted the first two story time videos. So where she was initially complaining, like I had to fire my maid of honor, and then like the part one, the part two. So after she had posted the part one, the part two, Jasmine, the maid of honor, posted a little vlog of her going to like pick out the bride's bridal shower gift. Like, come with me to Louis Vuitton. I'm gonna go pick out the bridal shower gift. Blah, 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 blah. And she posted it because like it was a cute little vlog. I think she deleted it since because she was getting a lot of hate for it. She didn't say anything about the fight. She just posted this little vlog, and this is what the bride had to say about it.
You guys, I am freaking dying right now. We're driving to San Diego, and I've told you guys, my matron of honor, my ex one, is literally obsessed with me, and she's obsessed with this girl right here. She is still posting about the Louis Vuitton bracelet. She literally just posted on TikTok. You could probably find her profile. I'm not going to tell you who, but you could probably find it.
Take a wild guess.
Take a guess.
That's the
She is literally posting, come with me to Louis Vuitton to get my best friend's bridal shower gift. My bridal shower was over a month ago at this point, and she's doing it now the day that we leave for our wedding. Do you also want to know something funny? First of all, she didn't even give me the bracelet. So why are you posting that you're literally giving your best friend a Louis Vuitton bracelet, but you didn't even actually give it to her? You kept it for yourself. And second of all, I get an alert on my email for the knot, and she declined.
mine and my husband's RSVP to the wedding yesterday. 2 days before we leave.
No one has access to my wedding website. The only people that have access to my wedding website are the people that got invitations sent to them. She also, I literally got, you guys know I got my boudoir pictures done in my cowgirl hat. Guess who did the same thing? I bet you can't guess who! She also copied where I got my engagement photos at. All of this is proof that she posts online on her TikTok. So if you can find her, you can find it. The delusion is hilarious. Hilarious. And I know she's seeing this right now, so that's why I'm posting this. Anyway, cheers! We're about to get married, bitch! Wish you were here, boo.
Yeah, so that's basically sums up this girl. Yikes. That's all I can say. Anyway, so she posts things like that, I guess, on a regular basis. And, you know, it kind of goes to show you why this girl has lost followers and has now privated her account since doing all this. Anyway, do I think it's weird that the maid of honor posted the vlog after all this stuff had gone down? You know what? If I had made a vlog of going to buy my friend's wedding gift or bride shower gift or whatever bridal shower gift, and then she ended up being so bitchy like this, I'm sorry, I would post it. I totally would post it. I totally would. I'd be like, you know what? Screw you, bitch. I'm gonna get the views. So you know what? I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did. And I think it's hilarious that she did. And she's saying that she's obsessed with her, but she's the one stalking her little bridesmaid. With her 200 followers or whatever, watching her every mood. Oh, look, she just posted this. She posted this vlog. She's so obsessed with me. How did you see it if she's only got 200 followers, apparently? You're following her too. You're following her too. What you gotta say about that? How did you see it? Did it show up on your FYP? So what we know so far is that Brian, Kenny's fiance, allegedly stole from the owner's company, the husband owner's company, and is now missing $4,200 from his paycheck. Doesn't know why, thinks it's totally wrong, whatever. So Jasmine comes on, the maid of honor comes on and shares the husband's story. And I think we gotta watch that because it kind of like, it clears up a little bit. Although everything here is still it's all just allegations, but I think it clears it up a little bit.
Okay, so let's talk about the husbands. People seem to be really confused about like the work dynamic, what actually transpired between them. So he was in charge of tracking jobs and scheduling jobs, making sure job completion happened, and then collecting payments from clients after jobs were completed. Those were his only real tasks. That was his role. He does have one person who worked under him, just assisting in his role. I don't know what her title was, but pretty much just his assistant. She would help communicate with the crews, help reach out to clients for payments, order materials, things like that. So he did have one person working directly under him, and then he had a whole team of people above him. So we're gonna go ahead and call his manager Bob, because I don't know how else to tell this story without like referencing these two people. So we're just gonna call him the husband and Bob. So the husband was our operations manager. The goal, of course, is for him to move up. We believe in moving up instead of hiring in. So he got hired in mid-November of 2024. That's barely a year and a couple months ago. So her and I did become friends very fast. I know some people were confused about like how quick that timeline actually was. We met in November of 2024. So he got hired on. This is his position. Okay. So Bob, his direct manager, here's the husband. Bob, his direct manager, was in charge of our sales team, watching over him, and then also running a canvassing team. Things were really good in the beginning. He talked this really big game about all the things he could do. Bob did for our sales team and canvassing, and let him bring on this team. It wasn't performing. So his canvassing team, the entire team got cut. The entire program got cut. We no longer were doing it. It just simply wasn't worth it for the time, the money, the things we were spending. It just didn't make sense. So his entire canvassing team got cut, and that's kind of where these problems started. He was still there. He was still in the role, but he was not showing up in office. He was not doing all these other tasks and roles and responsibilities that he had previously been doing. It was just so clear that the heart was out of it. And I think it's because half of his team had been cut and he kind of just was already like over it. I think his feelings were hurt. I think he realized that we were realizing he wasn't performing, and I think he knew the end was coming anyways. Half his team got cut, the other half wasn't performing. It just was inevitable. So he got fired in the morning, and that very same night, so not even a full 12 hours later, the husband calls my husband and is like, hey, I just wanted to reach out. You know, Bob got fired today, and I was really close with him. I don't want to have to go through new management. I really was sticking around with him. Like, he's helped me a lot in this position. It's just kind of my time to bow out too. We were totally fine with that. Conversation ended good. Everyone was good. Me and the bride were good. My husband and this husband were fine. Everything was okay. Fast forward, he comes in to get his check. It's always a check because there's always equipment that needs to be returned. He had office keys, he had iPads. That stuff was not the issue. So both Bob and the husband got invited in to come pick up their final check. Bob comes in, gets his check, looks at it, and my husband lets him know, hey, during the time you've been without us gone, since you've been let go, we've been looking into the numbers, we've audited your position, and there's a lot of numbers that don't make sense. Jobs were being pushed through, fake jobs that were never completed. You got paid out X amount of money on fake jobs. Jobs that sure, maybe we did a bid for or quote for, but that never signed, or maybe signed and canceled, or these jobs never happened. We were never paid on these jobs never were completed by us, the work was never done by us, but he got paid on them. That's not how it's supposed to work. So my husband tells him this, and Bob looks at my husband and goes, I get it, man. Do you need to keep this? He got paid his salary. He did not get paid his commissions for that month. He straight tells my husband, he's like, do you need to keep this as a clawback? Not what are you talking about? Not what do you mean? Not let me see the numbers. Do you need to keep this? And I feel like that right there says everything. Like, clearly he knew. So my husband was like, no, dude, we're good. I paid you what I owe you. I paid you your salary. Let's just call it a day. Let's go our separate ways. Bob says, okay, cool. Thanks, man. The husband comes in, gets his check, and my husband, out of the want to keep this friendship alive and the want to be, I guess, fairer to him, paid him his salary, and he still got his commissions, because we thought like, okay, maybe Bob was just doing this, and this guy didn't really know, even though it was his job to know. We were like, okay, maybe, it wasn't intentional. He wasn't aware. So the other husband, the bride's husband, gets his check, looks at it, and is like, okay, cool, thanks, man, and leaves. Does not say a word. If your check was $4,000 less than you expected, I feel like you would say something. He did not. So he left. Fast forward, it's 6-7 hours later. My husband texts me and goes, hey, you forgot to give me the office key. Can you please have your wife bring it to the bridal shower tomorrow to give to Jess? He responds and is like, yeah, sure. He then just instantly, so my husband started the conversation. He then just instantly starts going off. Hey, our gross revenue was this month. Why wasn't I paid commission on that? And my husband responded and was like, bud, no, it wasn't. Like, what are you talking about? Here's the actual numbers from our CFO. I'm pretty sure that's who sent it. Here's our actual numbers for the month. There's a very big difference in these two numbers.
Okay, I'm looking at these text messages, and just to kind of solidify the type of people that this couple is, he says, this is a real shisty ending to a professional relationship, man. You're essentially doing JEW math. It doesn't, I'm not even surprised. I'm curious what other type of things that he just says, like, on a regular basis, especially to somebody who was apparently your boss. If he's just like throwing out terms like that so casually, that kind of terminology is just, it's not okay. It's not correct. It's not okay. Plain and simple. That kind of goes to show you the kind of person that he is. But anyway, moral of the story is, this Brian guy, he was paid out correctly. He was paid out correctly based on the actual numbers. I can understand how he might be a little bit upset if he was under false pretenses, if his direct manager was telling him the numbers were a lot higher, if they were inflated because, like, maybe the manager was doing something shady. The fact that Brian did quit immediately after Bob was fired, that tells me something different. But again, like, I don't know. Maybe he just had a real connection with Bob. Who knows? The situation, it's a bit shady. It's a little bit shady. giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, because obviously at this point we don't have proof. He was paid correctly. He was paid based on the actual numbers. He cannot argue that. In the end, he was paid correctly. The fact that he's upset about that is, it sucks. It's just, you know, what can you do? What can you do? So anyway, that's pretty much all we have so far. Before the bride ended up going private, she did say that she was going to be getting lawyers. She's going to be suing the maid of honor for defamation, which I think is really interesting considering she was the one who started this whole thing. It could have just been kept private between the husbands and they could have dealt with it that way, but she decided that she wanted to come on social media 3 weeks before her wedding, or 2 weeks before her wedding, whatever you want to believe, because she says both, and she decided to start all this drama, which is really interesting. But now her account has gone private. Before we go, I just want to share one more video from the bride, which I just found talking about her baby mama, because I just want to really drill in how unhinged this girl is, how much of a bully she is, and how much I don't like her, because I just don't like her. And you know what? If it turns out that she, in fact, has been wronged this whole time, and, you know, I will come right on here and I will correct myself. But until then, yeah, let's see this.
Okay, I'm only gonna make this once. Baby mama's commenting on my last post. It's getting mad weird at this point. I have to deal with one of you guys. That's why I make these videos. Commenting on my post, stepmoms have no rights. You can't make decisions for yourself. Okay, I'm not even gonna engage in that shit anymore. Let me make something very clear. You can say all you want, how stepmoms can't make decisions. My fiance does not say yes unless we are in agreement about it. Is that crazy or what? Oh! I am not comfortable with it. He doesn't agree with it. If he's not comfortable with it, I don't agree with it. Don't go crazy in my comments, okay? I heard that stepmoms and their significant others are on the same team. That's called a healthy relationship, okay? All you guys commenting, oh, no rights, all that weird shit in my fucking comments, I don't care. Boosting my page, babe. Because guess what? You're only helping me, and you're helping my fiance, and you're getting me in contact with more stepmoms that have to deal with your crazy ass. Love you guys.
Okay, people with children should not marry people like this, because she's not thinking about the child when she is posting this video. She is posting for drama. She is posting to piss off the child's mother. She is posting for clout. She is posting just for attention. And she clearly doesn't care about how, like, the child's gonna see this video at one point. She's complaining about her stepchild's mother publicly online. Anyway, she's a nasty person, and I'm happy that she's now privated. I hope that she takes this as a lesson, that she needs to relax and she's not the big bad bitch that she thinks that she is. If we do get an update, I will let you guys know, but let me know down below in the comments what you think of this whole situation. I can't believe how some people literally just don't grow up outside of high school. They truly, really don't. And yeah, I hope for the best for this lady's stepchild, and I hope that they don't spend too much time at their house and that they spend time with their mom. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.